Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Hey, shalom, Akim, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to our powers. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Hey, give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that have taught us this truth that are constantly ruling well through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, peace, mercy, and blessings to the beloved Akim that are out there pushing this word wholeheartedly in truth and in sincerity, that are not wavering to the left nor to the right, but constantly staying on that straight and narrow, fighting for your crowns in these last days that we are truly living in. Even shalom to the few sisters, the Akwafs that are out there, and even shalom to the Israelite foreigners, those that may look like the other nations, but their seed line goes back into our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, I'm the brother Ira coming back with another Friday Night Live, which Lord willing, this one is edifying to the Lord's elect. I titled it, I have not hid thy righteousness within my heart. Okay. All right, because now more than ever, as the Lord has ordained us, if you're calling yourself a prophet, all right, is to give the Lord no rest. All right, it's to constantly keep preaching, it's to constantly keep teaching. Okay. All right, renewing your mind. Okay. Because the end is here. All right. And this is part of the hope of promise that the Lord has given unto us as the hope members of the elect. Okay. Prophecy. This is what we're focused on. This is what we're watching. All right. In these last days. All right. And these Edomites that are ruling over the children of Israel right now. All right. Esau's getting ready to lose. Esau's getting ready to go down. Okay. And like Elder Wamba pushes a lot, you know, hey, we got the victory, man. You know, even though that we're seeing tough times, okay, but this is everything that's happening, okay, is all in accordance to the salvation of the Lord's elect. All right. So I kind of want to start with Psalm chapter 40, and let's start at the top. Okay. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my goings. Okay. All right. And our feet now is set upon the true rock, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay. That is the true rock to where our feet it has been planted and established, all right, which Yahweh Shai is our foundation. Okay. You have to have Yahweh Shai as your foundation if you want to, if you call yourself to be all right in this truth. All right. If Yahweh Shai is not your foundation, okay, you're not in the truth. All right. Because who is your mediator to the most high? Okay. Without Yahweh Shai, we have no access to the Heavenly Father Yahweh. All right. So let's keep reading, right? It says, and he have put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our power. Many shall see it and fear and shall trust in the Lord. Okay. And what is that new song? Is the prophecies, is what we preaching. Okay. The history, the 100% understanding of the truth. Okay. Which most don't believe that they have 100% of the truth. All right. But the Lord has given his servants 100% to know all things that is containing for salvation, which is written in this book. All right. And then when it comes down to singing this song of ours, all right, this is the reason why the scriptures say, study to show thyself approved, okay, that you be not a workman. Matter of fact, let me get that as well. Hold on. Let me get that as well. Study. All right, hold on. All right, 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth, okay? Because most Israelites that are out here are not able to perform this work skillfully. All right, as the scriptures speak about, when you come to sing this song, you must do it skillfully. Okay, and this is where a lot of other Israelites lack at. That's why when it comes down to major pieces of prophecy, especially like the mark of the beast, the MOTB, okay, they can't go into it because they're not skillfully set in order through the Holy Spirit. Okay, let me see if I can find skill. Bear, bear with me. All right, play. Let me look it up on Google real fast. Bear with me, Akim. Right, play skillful. Okay, there it is. Psalms 33, Psalms 33, and Psalms 33 and 3. It says, "Sing unto him a new song, play skillfully with a loud noise." All right. So when it comes down to these breakdowns to these scriptures, all right, we're supposed to play them skillfully, okay? All right, because you can't have 99.9% of the truth. Now you got to have the whole thing. That's why the scriptures say that the Lord has given us an unction to know all things, because see, uh, what gives us hope? All right, faith comes by hearing, but also what furthers our faith or our hope, in a sense, is the fact that we can see the prophecies. Okay, the scriptures do speak about how we can see afar off. All right, let me see. Hmm. Yep, right here, Job 36:25. It says, "Every man may see it, man may behold it afar off." All right. So what are we able to see? Because the Lord has opened our minds, which is the prophecies. All right. This is how we're able to measure out the times diligently in itself. Okay. All right. Which the prophecies give us hope. All right. The hope that we need in order to keep fighting, to keep finishing out the course that we have been set on. That's why playing this word skillfully and understanding what's in the scriptures is important, because all right, especially not only when it comes to teaching, but also when it comes to giving hope to those that are of a like mind. Hey, shalom to the brother Isaiah Idaho. Yabashim Shai Brakatah, brother shalom. All right. So what we're seeing afar off is the prophecies, okay? And then it keeps us able to keep battling. Because see, when we listen to like these news analysts, these economic people that kind of can go into the what's going on in the structure of America and different countries and things of that nature, or you got people that report on geopolitical news, wars and things of that nature. All right, they're kind of telling you from a perspective that this is what's happening. All right, it's bad because this, that, and the third. But then they also give you perspective of hope that, oh well, we hope that things are going to get back better. Well, no, according to what we preach, is that there is no make America great again or make America better. This is why these Edomites are looking shameful right now, especially Donald Trump. You got, I did a lesson on Colonel Douglas McGregor. He said the US effed up about what they did when they builded up the Ukrainian army to put them at the forefront to try to fight against the Russians. The US messed up when they cut the Russians off from the SWIFT banking system, okay? Because the Lord is the one that got the power to increase nations. So what did the Lord do with Russia? He increased them and had them get in league with other countries, especially the BRICS. You got what? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and you got other neighboring countries that are joining right now, but now they're doing financial business with each other. They're doing military business with each other. So they no longer even need the West. Okay. And that kind of shows you how with this even trade war was going on between China and the US, China is speaking boldly, you know, to the point where Trump is now having to renege on what he said. Because they see everybody thought that the America was going to continuously be the big bad bully on the block. But see, the Lord got the prophecy speaking so loud that, as matter of fact, let me get it real fast in the book of uh Isaiah the 14th chapter. It speaks about how their pump is being brought low. All right, the pump is being pushed down to the ground. That pompous spirit, that prideful spirit. You know, I'm American. I'm proud. You know. Oh, they got the Marines. The how does that shit go? The Marines, the few, the proud. I forget how this shit go, but you know, brothers heard it. Brothers probably heard it on a commercial. They used to play that military theme all day long, every day. But let me see. Give me a second though. All right, give me a second. Um, this is Isaiah 14, and let me start at verse 10. It says, "All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?" You know, because like I was talking to the brother earlier, especially mentioned China. The development that the Chinese have since 40 years ago is not the same that they have today. So you got China that has military drones. They got a 1 million man army. They got AI. They got robots. They got technology. Okay. They're upgraded. So that's why they don't need to hold on to the US Treasury stocks. They can dump them, you know, because they're like, shit, we're not going to no longer be pressed by the US no more. You know, you got some dude pressing you. Hey man, where you from? What's up? You think you well, China like shit. You know, we could fight. We could flex back. You know, don't get it twisted. Do you not realize that um everything on your store shelves is made either from us or one of these Asian countries? Don't get it twisted. Everything that's being sent over to the US come from us. You know, so if you want to play this trade war deal, all right, it's not going to majorly affect our people. It's going to affect your people. Your people are going to suffer economically. And that's why we're starting to see more jobs being lost here in the States. You got articles that are floating around where 6 million people cannot pay their mortgages. You got government jobs that people are being cut off or being put on freeze, you know, because I go to a aeronautics school. I go to an aeronautics school, and and they got jobs, businesses where for the airports and people that deal with engineering, turbines, and you know certain propellers, helicopters, and things like that. They'll come and recruit mechanics, you know. So the Department of Defense came, and the dude from the DOD was like, yeah, well, right now there's nobody getting cleared to actually enter into this field because of what's going on into the government, you know? So now all that is closing. You see what I'm saying? All right. Everything that the US has thought that they were going to do to actually maintain a narrative and control what the hell was going on, it has backfired. And that's all through the spirit of Pop Yah by Shema Shai. All right, because in a sense, these Edomites are now getting what? Chased out of the earth. So let me keep reading, right? Isaiah 14:11 says, "Thy pump is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee." All right. So the American pride and the American people are now starting to wake up to the fact that America is no longer that place that has that full authority as it once had. Okay, you know, and that's beautiful through the spirit. That's a part of it. Hey, we're seeing that. We understand why. Pursuant to what? Jeremiah 51. You know, all right. It speaks about no bomb for this place. That's why a lot of Americans right now are crying out like the American dream is now becoming the American nightmare. Okay. But through the spirit and power, we know Okay, we know. All right, let me go back. All right, let me go back to that. Let me go back to that Psalms. Okay, all right, Psalms back in Psalms chapter 40. Okay, Psalms chapter 40 and verse 4 says, blessed is the man that maketh the Lord his trust and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Okay, so blessed are the elect, because what is the elect doing? We're looking towards the prophecies. We're looking towards the Lord. You know, we're no longer standing upon him who has smote us. We don't depend on Esau, Edom. You know, yeah, we got to go to work. Yeah, we got to pay bills. Yeah, we got to get to our destinations, get gas and things of that nature, groceries. But we're only doing that to maintain ourselves here. Okay. The primary focus is us doing what the Lord commanded us to do. All right. And this is why other Israelite groups are failing, because they got leaders that are not prioritizing their ministry around the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. So a lot of their members are subjugated to the lie still. Just like, for example, IUIC. Okay, IUIC. All right. What is IUIC doing? They set up a funding for a land grab. I want to say out in Atlanta. Okay, and they're getting thousands of dollars from ignorant ass jakes that are being simple as hell. Because if you would watch the prophecy, you can see very clear that this place is done for. America is over. Okay, and there's a reason why the Lord is exposing these Edomites. Matter of fact, hold on, let me go. Let me from there. Hold on, let me go back. I'm sorry. From there, let me go uh to the book of Ezekiel. Okay, Ezekiel chapter 13. I'm gonna start at the top. Let me go to Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 1. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy, and say thou unto them that prophesy out of their own hearts, hear ye the word of the Lord. You see, right? You got Israelites that are prophesying out of their own heart, saying that the Lord is dealing with them when the Lord is not. And the indicator that the Lord is not dealing with them is that they're not speaking according to what's written in this book. Okay, that's how you decipher. That's how you make the judgments, right? It says, thus saith the Lord power, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirits and have seen nothing. Because while they're trying to tell you, oh, let's build up communities. All right, well, let's say, okay, you build up a community, that's fine and dandy. Well, let's go back into history. When Jake separated from Esau and build up their own communities, what did Esau do? You can use Tulsa, Oklahoma, for an example. Esau infiltrated, bombed, and ruined their whole shit that they had set up, you know, because Esau, or let's say the elites, know that we're the children of Israel, okay? And they kind of show you that in that movie Sinners with Michael B. Jordan. Esau covets after Jake, just like ancient Pharaoh coveted after Jake, because without Israel, Egypt wouldn't have been great. All right, which is started with Joseph. Remember, Joseph had the dream, okay, that there was going to be a portion of famine, and then there was going to be a portion of prosperity. All right, and he told Pharaoh what to do, you know, and that put Joseph in a high position. All right, so the reason why America is built up is because of the Israelites. Matter of fact, what goes into that? Let's get that real fast. All right, let's get that real fast. Okay, let's go to um Nahum. Okay, let's go to the book of Nahum. All right, this is Where you at? Okay, right here. Here it is. Nahum chapter 3, verse 1. All right, which Nahum is dealing with Nineveh during the Assyrian captivity or empire, but Nineveh is also a spiritual name for America. Okay. All right, which Nineveh also had the Israelites in captivity as well. All right, the northern kingdom. Okay. So it says, woe to the bloody city, it is all full of lies and robbery, the prey departeth not. All right. So woe to the bloody city, which would be Babylon the Great, okay, which is America, all right, or you could call it the daughter of Babylon, okay. And the reason why it's bloody is because of what? The lies of the Israelites, okay. All right, our blood has been shed through all out through the lands of while we were here, okay, that these Edomites have not paid yet for. You know, it says it is all full of lies and robbery, the prey departeth not. So in that movie, Sinners, you got the Edomite vampires or the demons, you know, they wanted Sammy, okay, because Sammy had that spirit of playing being a musician, and he had the spirit of the blues on him, you know, which they say that the blues, when you hear somebody that's heavily tuned in to the spirit of playing the blues, it's a supernatural vibration that comes from it. All right, which they show you in that movie that it invokes spirits, you know, and that's why Esau in that movie wanted to covet Sammy, which I believe Sammy's character goes back into Buddy Guy. All right, which Buddy Guy favored after I forget his name, I think Robertson. He was a major blues player that went to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil, you know. But Buddy Guy, I believe he's the character after Sammy, you know. All right, but Esau covered to that, you know. All right, so these elites, they know without Israel that their society will not be prominent, will not be as great, okay? Because truth be told, we're the innovators, you know? We're the mathematicians, we're the researchers, okay? We're the mighty men. And then ultimately, where do we get our inspiration from? It comes divinely from Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah. That's why the scriptures do speak about that Jacob. Let me get that as well. All right. Hold on. Oops, spelled that wrong. All right, Jeremiah 10 and 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them. They not like us. But he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Okay. So we're not like the other nations. All right. From the head tribe Judah all the way down to the northern kingdom to the Issacharites. All right. We're not like these heathens. Okay. So everybody in the world wants to be like us. Like, I mean, you know, I take the statement Paul Mooney said, everybody want to be a nigga, but don't want to be a nigga. When it comes down to the curses and things that we suffer from and what we go through, you know, uh harsh discrimination and uh harassment and, you know, getting pushed down as we ain't shit as a people. Nobody wants that stigma on them, but they want the greatness of Jake. They want that stigma on them, you know. That's why they try to imitate us, but they don't have the flavor that we have. All right. But yeah, let me go back. Okay. So Ezekiel 13 and 3, it says, thus saith the Lord power, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. All right. So like I may mention, IUIC want that land, all right, or to so-called buy, which like the elder brothers are going into. That's nothing for that was nothing more than a money grab, you know. All right. You got people, you got Jake in your organization. You can put $40 with 800 men and come up with $40,000 easy work. But you reaching out to outside communities or other Jakes asking for donations from them. Okay. All right. What's really going on? You know, and that's the wrong spirit to even push as a leader on Jake right now. You know, because Jake needs to be seeing what the prophecies are saying. Because right now, like I tell you in the book of Habakkuk, that the prophecies are speaking loud and clear. You know, you got what is it? Costco's. Costco's has all AI um monitoring cameras, CCTV cameras, where they're monitoring you in real time, and they're able to calculate everything in your basket to where they no longer need a person at the door to visually look at your receipt, because you have been monitored by the AI, and they could pick up everything that you put in your basket. So they don't need no person at the to check at the door. You know, they could do it. And now they got scan and go, sign up for scan and go. And like me and the brother was even talking about, um, when you start looking around you, everything is changing. When you go to these fast food, even though we don't eat at McDonald's, you could go there now, and you don't need to talk to nobody at the register. You can just go on a kiosk, put in your menu, put in the order what you want, hit select, pay with your card, and then get your receipt, and then wait till your number's called. You know, so slowly but surely, as they're putting these new devices into these fast food supply changes places, they're slowly removing people from the workplace, because what we've been saying through the years, AI is going to take over, robots are going to take over. Esau no longer needs you. So in order to, you know, where Esau calculates all these things because he thinks he can always have things under his belt and in control. Show you the pride of this devil. He's going to cut you off from working to where you got to pay your bills. So he knows that people are going to riot and go crazy. So he got to make a way for you to be satisfied or content. So when we've been hearing about Klaus Schwab, right? Cotton Schwab, who just stepped down from the WEF for whatever odd reason after who just died, Pope Gregory, or whatever his name was, which called on Elijah, how about Shema Shah, another decrepit devil's gone, which he's gonna go to slavery, right? He said you should own nothing and be happy. So they've been talking about what? High basic income. You staying at home and you receiving some type of high basic income, and it's not going to be like 2020 where they were giving Jake stimulus and you could sign up for this program. No, the program that you're going to sign up for is a digital mark of the beast that they're going to implant inside your body. That's exactly what's going to take place, and this is why the warning must go forth. Okay, so let me keep reading. It says, verse 4 said, "O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the desert." Okay, because a fox is something that is sly, crafty, all right, just like wolves. Wolves are calculated, they're very strategic when they hunt, right? And they know that it's always better to hunt in packs, okay, instead of doing it alone. All right, it makes them stronger in a sense of just in case they got to come up against a bigger opponent. All right, but they have territories that they have marked for and mapped out for predator purposes and for prey purposes. Okay, and they know their surroundings very well, where they can hit you at all different angles. You know, so you got Jake that is in a sense of a fox or a wolf. Okay, wolves in sheep's clothing is what our Lord Yahweh Shai called a lot of these you know um false prophets, man. All right, because a wolf is only for their own belly. you know And we grew up in grade school, elementary. You got that Red Riding Hood. The wolf's soul's purpose was to try to eat Red Riding Hood. So he schemed his way into what the her grandmother's crib and acted like grandma, so that way he could get close enough to eat Red Robin Hood. So that's how. So his purpose was all for his belly, for himself, you know? So that's the purpose of these other false prophets. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to verse 5. It says, "You have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord." You see? All right. I mean, that's the purpose of prophecy. Okay. Because as we're getting skillful with these words and we're playing this new song, a part of the new song is to warn Jake for the days to come. Okay. You know, that's why the scriptures say that the prudent man, matter of fact, let me get that as well. Hold on. The prudent man. Okay. The prudent man. Let me get that as well. All right. Proverbs 22:3. It says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." All right. So the prudent man, the one that is paying attention and constantly going over the articles, paying attention to alternative media sites, you know, getting your study on, you're going to be more sharp than somebody that's not. Okay. You know, if you're just all about fun, mirth, enjoying your family, all right, focus on your daily life, things of that nature, you're missing out a whole lot what's going on in the world. Because a part of the delusion here is to make it seem like everything's okay. You know, that's a part of Esau's witchcraft, sorceries, and enchantment. And then what do they use? They use the full tube. You know, they use the television, all right, in order to publicate, you know what I'm saying, shit that you don't need to hear about. You know, that's how Esau gets you. All right. And then you like, oh, well, it ain't nothing happening. No, a lot is happening through the Holy Spirit. That's why the scriptures say what? Measure thou the time diligently in itself. You know? Okay, you're supposed to be occupied in these things. All right, but let me go back. Let me go back to Psalms. Okay. Let's go back to Psalms chapter 40. And I'm gonna read verse 4 again, and I'm gonna jump down to verse 9. All right, Psalms 40:4 says, "Blessed is the man that make the Lord his trust, and respective not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies." All right, let's jump down to verse 9. It says, "I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Lo, I have not refrained my lips. O Lord, thou knowest." And more than ever in the times that we are in, we want to be able to say these words, you know, "Lord, everything that you have opened my mind to, everything you have shown me, you know, I have not shunned it to the world. I have declared these things, you know, whether Israel wanted to hear or not." Okay. That's why what Ezekiel said, what the Lord told him, which Lord willing, I'm going to grab. Okay. I'm going to go to Ezekiel 33, you know, pretty much the blood is being washed off our hands, because Jake can't come to that conclusion or that rationality and say, "Oh, well, I never knew." Yes, you did. You heard it some shape or form, because the whole world has to know this. All right. The whole world has to know the mercy and the fear. Okay. And the judgments of the Lord, you know. All right. So it's going forth, right? Let's go to verse 10. It says, "I have not hid thy righteousness within my heart. I have declared thy faithfulness and thy salvation. I have not concealed thy loving kindness and thy truth from the great congregation." Okay, so let's go from there to what? Psalms. No, I'm sorry, not Psalms, I'm sorry. To Ezekiel 33. Let's go there. Go to Ezekiel 33. Okay. All right. And you gotta, man, you gotta, and we could very well see that Esau is almost out of here, man. You got all type of information coming out. You got Tim Waltz, you know, this decrepit ass nasty devil, you know, he come to find out he had to get his stomach pumped, you know, because he likes swallowing horse seed, you know, and that's the same dude that was getting ready to run for Kamala Harris VP, vice president, you know. All right, so you know the Lord is getting fed up of these nasty individuals. All right, and you got a lot of nasty work going on, man, in the world right now. You got a lot of individuals that are getting exposed for child porn. You know what? All right, You got a lot of information coming out about uh uh the sexual perversion magic that these Edomites are into. Okay, the reason why they take these children. Okay, and I believe I read it into one of these articles where they call the child's rectum the keyhole, the key of David, or the where the the door of David right there. Some demonic wicked shit, man. You know? All right. The Lord's getting ready to destroy this place. And this is the reason why the Lord's putting a spirit on these other nations, because we should be prophesying against the downfall of this place, putting curse on this place daily, man. You know? All right. There's a reason why these other nations are starting to hate this place, man, because the Lord wants them to have the spirit to want to burn this bitch, burn this hole, man. All right, which will happen. Okay, let me go. Matter of fact, Ezekiel 33. Ezekiel 33. Matter of fact, and I'm gonna pull up an article too. All right, to show you what's going on in the news. Ezekiel 33:1. It says, again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man off their coast and set him for their watchman, all right, because that's the role of a true prophet, right? Is a watchman. So a watchman is going to bark, you know. The scriptures call the false prophets dumb dogs, because the job of a dog is to stay alert, to warn you of anybody that's a predator or that's not supposed to be on your premises, that can potentially cause harm to you, you know? So we're a warning of the enemy. All right. Esau knoweth that he had but a short time, so he's getting ready to come down inhabitants with great wrath. So knowing that should put fear on you that, yeah, they're getting ready to take everything from you, all your livelihood, you know? So you should be changing and turning back to your how by Shema Rashah, to have that place of refuge, to have that secureness, because without the Lord and without faith, you're not going to make it out here. You know, those that don't have faith and don't have Yahweh by Shema Rashai, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it at all. All right. They're not going to make it. Okay. That pressure that Esau is going to apply to the people through the Lord is going to break these people, you know, and they ain't never been put under that kind of stress before. Right now, people are undergoing stress, and they popping up on social media expressing themselves, and they can't even take what the hell is going on right now as we speak. And victuals are still what somewhat so good cheap upon the earth, where people do think themselves to be in good case, you know, but greater confusions is coming, because inflation is eventually going to turn into hyperinflation. Money is going to become the dollar, I'm sorry, the physical dollar will become obsolete. Like I made the example of, you got fast food supply chains that are using kiosks for you to order your meals, and what would you need for a customer service or somebody at the register? Because the person at the register is to do exchanges. They're supposed to take your physical cash, get your change, and give it back to you. But if everything's all digital, your money's gonna be on your credit card or your debit card or whatever. Your change is gonna be divided up on there, you know? So they don't need nobody at the registers anymore. All right. So the system is getting ready to change. All right. So let me keep going, right? Let me keep going. Ezekiel 33:3. It says, if when he see if the sword come upon the land, he bloweth the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. All right. So if you don't take heed to the warning, nobody shall bemoan you. Nobody shall feel sorry for you, you know, because you had the chance. And the large portion of Israel, all right, they denied the Lord. Okay, as it tells you, they denied the Lord. All right, when the Lord's hand was stretched forth, what they do? They smacked his hand away. I don't need the Lord. I'm good. I can live my life. I can figure things out. I'm straight. I'm golden. You know, I ain't. Hey, you ain't living like the Golden Girls. You know what I'm saying? You ain't in that kind of era. You know, I ain't everything is falling since then. You know, we ain't living in the time of the '80s. You know, the '60s. You know what I'm saying? Now we live in a whole different type of time. You know, all right, where things have gotten worse. Okay, so let's keep reading. Right, let's go to verse 5. Now it says, he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. So those that take heed to the warning, you're gonna deliver your soul. You know, all right, and it's not just it's not just hearing it. Oh yeah, I know I'm an Israelite. You know, I know that God is for me. I'm one of the prospective tribes, you know, the nation of Israel. Nah, the scriptures speak about, matter of fact, let me grab it. All right, in the book of Psalms. I'm heavy in the book of Psalms today. All right, Psalms 119. All right, Psalms 119. Let's get that real fast. All right, Psalms 119 and and 9. It says, wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. So when you hear these words, hey, you gotta take heed to them by applying them to your life. You gotta make the correction. You gotta make the change. You know, like Yahweh Shai told Nicodemus. Okay, he said, you know, you gotta be if you want to see the kingdom of heaven, you gotta be reborn again. You know, not just be no surface level basic Israelite that are out there that just know you're Israel and then everything is all to the good. Just because you know you're Israel don't mean nothing. You know? All right? Nah. Okay. Cause the part about the MOTB, as it tells you in Revelations 3 and 10, is that there's going to come a trying time, you know, that you have to prove yourself. Okay. The scriptures speak about gold is tried in the fire. So how you gonna prove yourself if you haven't even started? You know? That's like when you come to any sports and you're doing tryouts, you know, hey, you gotta pass the tryouts. You know what I'm saying? In order to get on the team, you know? So if you don't pass the tryouts, shit, how you know you're gonna even get on the team? And then when you on the team, how you know you're gonna be a starting player? You see what I'm saying? Because you could get on the team and not be even a starting player. You know, not saying that you know you got to be on the court or whatnot. At least get on the team, so to speak. Get on the team. You know, it's the point I'm making. Get on the team. All right. But let me read that again. It says, "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way by taking heed thereto according to thy word. With my whole heart have I sought thee. Oh, let me not wander from thy commandments." All right. So you supposed to get these words, dig into them, you know what I'm saying? Learn them, all right? Because the scripture do say that knowledge and wisdom should be the stability of thy time, man. You know, all right? Hey, you know, like the elder Wamba said, he said, man, he pretty much said he got a call from ISIS, you know, or it could be ISIS. He checked the number, you know. That it's not a normal thing that ISIS will call you, but when you look at it through the spirit, the lens of the spirit, we know that there's a time where there's going to be people getting snatched up. Jake getting snatched up. Brothers in the truth getting snatched up. Okay. That's also a part of trying in your faith. You know, beat out. Matter of fact, let me grab that as well. The scriptures say what? Be thou faithful unto death. You know, this is why the warning is important. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. What is it? Oh, that's not it. Let me go back. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10, it says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." So that's a test right there. That's trying right there. All right. You see what I'm saying? So let's go back. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's see. Back fast. Right. Let's go back to shoot. See. Ezekiel 33 and 6. It says, but if the watchman see if the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from amongst them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hands. Okay, so the watchman will be in a sense responsible for not giving forth the warning of that of Israel's death. All right, so we're clean in a sense. Okay, because we told you, and that's all we gotta do is just tell you one time. All right. Oh yeah, like I made mention, that's what I was gonna talk about. Slakia. Sometimes my mind be running 1,000 miles per hour, be having to slow it down. All right, but like I was talking to the brother, um, over the phone earlier. All right, and I was pretty much reading how you got a lot of filthiness that's going on in the world, and then you got like I said, the child PO, R to the end. Right? So you got an article that came out from a Bethlehem man accused of making and sharing AI generated, child, man. All right. A lot of wickedness and weird shit is going on. And we know that Bethlehem is in Jerusalem, you know? All right. So they got AI generated of these things nowadays. Okay. So there's a lot of enchantments, there's a lot of wickedness that are going on right now. All right. Matter of fact, let's take a look at this one. It says, um, let me see. State police corporal took pics in woman's locker room, made AI PORN. All right. So it says a corporal for the Pennsylvania State Police who was previously charged after thousands of pornographic images and videos were allegedly found on his work computer. All right. So you got people on the police force is facing new charges amid claims that he filmed people without their consent, repeatedly entered and took pictures in the woman's locker room at the state police barracks in Montgomery County, made AI generated porn, and had child pornography, officials say. So you got a lot of weird uh uh shit going on in the world right now. All right. Which Lord willing, I'll post that into the description box. And then right here you have you had 2 weeks ago, you had 8 suspects charged in international child, So you got a lot of heinous shit that is taking place, man. All right. And right now we're in that 13th day. Let me see what it's called. It's called the 13th. I know I got it kind of looked up. Let me see. Shoot. Uh yep, here it is. The 13th day pretty much satanic ritual from like, I want to say from like what, April 19th to May 1st. All right. So let me read into a little bit of this right here. It says April 19th to May 1st, which we know May 1st is dealing with May Day. All right. So there's a lot of demonic shit that's getting ready to take place. All right. Well, or that is taking place. A lot of sacrificing, lot of molestation, things that nature. All right. Oh, look, see the light flickered on that one. Okay, you got a lot of wickedness going on. All right, because right now Esau is trying to stand within his enchantments. Okay, it says is a very important time period to Satanists, Lucifer followers, which the word Lucifer goes back into the light bearers. All right, so Esau or the elites are known as the Luciferians. Okay, they're the they're the light bearers of this world. All right. So it says followers and the Illuminati blood, prices to the beast Molech begins a most critical 13-day period fire sacrifice is required on April 19, especially children and women, or just plain innocent victims that many just consider collateral damage. So people are getting snatched off the street, going missing, you know, being found wound up in this state. They so-called went on vacation, wound it up in somebody's suitcase and all type of pieces. All type of shit is happening, because they're victims. And ultimately, that's the Lord's judgment right there for you to get caught in some shit like that. You know, it says April 19 is the first day of the 13-day satanic ritual, a day relating to fire. The fire god Baal or Molech, also known as the Roman god Saturn, which goes back to Saturnalia, which goes back into the devil. All right, Satan. Okay, this day is a major human sacrifice day, demanding a fire sacrifice with an emphasis on children. You see? So that's why you have that going on in the news right now. All right. It says, uh, uh, this day is one of the most important human sacrifice days of the year to Satanists and others, and as such as had some very important historic events occur on this day throughout history. So we got a couple more information going into it, but you can kind of look into it yourself. It's kind of just the basics of what it's talking about, right? But basically it's focused on children, women, all right, things of that nature, all right. And this is why, hey, right now Esau's trying to stand in enchantments. Okay, let's grab that as well. All right. um mm, Matter of fact, I got to go back to Ezekiel 33:7. It says, so thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. All right. So that's what we're doing. We're warning from the Lord. Okay. So let's go to Ezekiel. I'm sorry, not Ezekiel, Isaiah 47. And let's go to verse, let's see, Isaiah 47:10. It says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. All right, but the Lord got Esau being exposed right now, for a lot of decrepit, demonic shit that is going on. All right, in these times. Okay, just like right now, Esau sent some black women, so called, to outer space. And then that was even crappy. They came down and everybody pulled up at the right time, and then Jeff Bezos was getting ready to open the door, and then the woman from the inside, she opened the door, which there shouldn't be no way for the door to be able to get opened, and they're faking it like he looked through the window, getting ready to reopen the door, and all type of gimmicks and BS. And that's why the Wadi Al by Shema Rashad for the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, because they they the, the Lord is working through those men, all right, and they showed us that no flesh can actually go beyond the Van Allen belts that are around the earth, which are high density radiation belts, so there's no flesh that can go beyond that, because your ass is going to be radiated and die, man. Okay. So that was the Lord did that. So because see, look what Esau be talking about, what he be thinking. He, with Elon Musk, that's what most people be hearing about SpaceX, how they want to go to Mars and go to different places, and they talking about, even my aviation teacher was talking about it. Eventually we're gonna be on the moon. I want to be a part of that. It's going to be a great day in history, like when they so-called went to the moon. you know, man, that was all fabricated information. It was all witchcraft, all right, deception, all right, because Esau never been to the moon, and he's never gonna go to the moon, okay, never gonna get there, never gonna go, all right. Lord has him blocked, okay. At least the moon be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? All right, but let's keep reading. It says, therefore shall evil come upon thee, Thou shalt know, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. All right. And this is why America, like we've been saying, is getting ready to go. Esau know that his time is coming to an end, you know? And right now he's putting the squeeze on everybody else, making them suffer. It's like we said, a cruel Lord was getting ready to rule over you, pursuant to Isaiah the 19th chapter. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, all right, who tucked his tail to the Chinese, okay? Hey, he's taking it out on the people. But this all according to the elites, you know, because he's a puppet, all right? But the scriptures say right here, it says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. All right. But they ain't gonna be able to prevail because who controls the left-hand side? The Most High controls the left-hand side. Esau don't control shit, you know? All right, Esau ain't controlling them spirits. The Most High is, pursuant to what Job, the first and second chapter, pursuant to the book of, I want to say, Second Kings. All right, that lion spirit, you know, the spirit that also went and worked on the mind of Nebuchadnezzar. The Lord controls the spirits on the left hand and the right side. You know, right? So Esau knows that he's running out of time. You know, hey, he got that message from Sir. Lord sent the angel out. Many tekel, you have been found weighed and wanted in the balance. Okay. All right. And the scale is tipping what? For judgment. So America's out of here. America getting ready to be destroyed. And we got to continuously keep singing this song the correct way, prophesying against this place, putting curses on this place. You know, a simple curse, you know. Shalak Rayam, why Anasha, why Mashapatyam, Al Babal, you know, Yahweh Bashima Shaba Shima Kakadash, the water, Aman, you know, something simple, man, but it's still a prayer to Yahweh Bashima Shire against this fucking place, man. All right. And what the Lord said, he said, even his eyes are upon this place, you know, his eyes are upon this place to destroy it. Okay. Amos 9 and Amos 9 and 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, said the Lord. All right. So the Lord's going to save the remnant, the elect, but America is going to go by the ways of fire. That's what the Lord has in plan for this place. Okay. Let's get that real fast. In the book of Malachi, I'm gonna end it right there because I don't want to go too long. I'm already at the hour mark. All right, Malachi 4 and 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Okay, all right, neither root nor branch. Okay, so what's going to do that? The Lord did it during the time of Sodom, Gomorrah, Zoar, I want to say Admah and Zimran. I want to say that those are the 5 cities. Okay. Um, if I miss one, Salakia, you know. But the Lord rained fire and brimstone now. But now these other nations have nuclear capability. Okay, ICBM missiles. You know. So while they're talking about Iran, they don't want to go into Iran, but the Lord going to force them to go into Iran. You know, the Lord's going to force these 1948ers to keep poking at the U.S. to further move on to this major conflict, which Russia's going to stand in and his allies, and they're going to all burn. All right, America, man. Okay, you know that's how America's going to go out, by the way of fire. So let me read on. It says, verse 2, but unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, right? And it ain't Jesus that's coming. It's Yahweh Shai, okay? Ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall, man, new bodies, you know? being revigorated, not dealing with ailments, suffering, headaches, kidney failure, spirits that fuck with you, man. Right? We're going to be perfect. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. All right. So that time is coming where we're going to get payback on our enemies. We're going to get to watch the downfall of this place, but we got to make it through the ultimate trying time, the time of Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, the mark of the beast. So we should be preparing, as the scriptures say, set your household in order. Okay. Hey, we should be redeeming the time because the days of evil, being circumspect out here, you know? Shit. But yeah, with that, brothers, man, I'm pretty much gonna end it right there. Lord willing, this was edifying to the Lord's elect. I want to say Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, and Brakata Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Dash. Lord willing, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. And with that, Shalom, Akim, y'all brothers stay up. Y'all brothers stay up, man. Shalom, shalom.